everyone's going. I've got to remember the cameras over this week.
Hello, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another Microscopy Live. My name is Lorelei, and next to me is Jen, and we are hosts today. I don't know.
We're always the hosts.
We're always the hosts.
It's just us.
It's just us in a corner of the lab. Today we are going to be talking and having a look at some pollen. We've got lots of different varieties to have a look at, and we'll probably give some of you a chance to control the microscope as well, which should be a lot of fun. So before we get into it and do our normal ramble explaining microscopes and what we're all doing, I would like to just quickly say we do giveaways every month now, because we are now proudly sponsored and in partnership with Gel UK. So our winner from last month is Ellen Sir, who I think is from Germany, and I don't know if she's in the chat today, but we will get in touch with you, Ellen, and we will send you along your goodie bag from last month.
So we've got another quiz running, which you'll be able to access after session. We'll send out a booklet with a link to it in. So as always, our prizes this week are the Plymouth Electron Microscopy Centre bag. We've got a lens cloth that our colleague Dan upstairs has made. We have our special Rockamara family gel lens cloth, which is part of their marketing campaign for their little Neoscope, which we're using today. We've got our notepad, we've got some pencils, but we've also got a suitably spring-themed little document wallet. And if you're like me and you really love stationery, I'm trying not to hoard these because I think they're really cute.
They're very cute.
They're adorable. I love them so much.
Yeah, featuring Ranamaru. He is a little mascot. He is basically the stuffed toy of our little Neoscope, which we're going to use today, and he was accompanying us, as he's accompanying us everywhere because he is our son and we love him.
Indeed. So today we're back on our John Neoscope. This is a benchtop SEM, so I will grab you. Apologies for this. We've got cables everywhere. It's like we will get a GoPro at some point. It's in the works. So this is our Joel Neoscope benchtop SEM. So it's about the same size as a computer PC tower, but it does all the things that a big electron microscope does, just in a very condensed, very heavy little box. So we have our electron source at the top. It comes through down here into the chamber. This is all running at high vacuum at the moment. And what it means is that we can do a whole range of different analysis. So using our electron beam, you can think of it kind of like how you would use light in a regular microscope. But what we can do with electrons is look at things at much higher resolution, much higher magnifications. But we can also do things like generate compositional analysis. We can measure different elements. But today, we're more interested in the shape of things. So we're going to be using a technique called secondary electron imaging. So as your electron beam comes down and hits the sample surface, these are the electrons that are being released by the sample as electrons and photons. Being released by the sample, then our detectors pick that up, work out where they've come from, and can generate images based on the shape of things. So we will go into the science side of things.
Do you want to share the screen?
There we are. I always forget. I use Zoom enough, and every time I'm awful at it. So welcome to our Neoscope software. So we've already got our samples loaded in today, because I was doing some work overnight. So we can just go straight into the observation stage.
If you have any questions or want to speak to us or say anything or want to guide us, because this is a very interactive thing, you're more than welcome to unmute your mic and have a chat and talk to us. But if you're not comfortable, you can talk and chat. We've got it up here so we can see what you're doing and talking to us. So just,
So we'll do a quick run through of how this all works, and then we'll be able to give you the chance to drive it yourself. So what we have at the moment is a nice little photo of the sample. This is top down. I've got a list of what everything is because it all looks the same to me because I'm a geologist and not a pollen expert.
Well, so pollen's very small, so it all just looks like dust at the moment.
It does. So as we've done in the past, we've coated our samples in gold. This means that they're nice and conductive. So when the electron beam interacts with the sample, those electrons have somewhere to go, which is quite pretty. It's quite an easy process. It's only about 10 nanometers of gold. It's not very much, but it's enough to make it shiny.
Yeah, shiny, pretty.
So what we can do here is start zooming in. So we can pick our first sample. So we should probably just start over here, I think.
Yeah, start.
That's because I know this stub does have pollen on it because I've checked.
I've also checked.
So you can see the spectra at the side here. That big AU spike, that's the gold coat that it's picking up. It'll also pick up carbon because it's stuck down on a carbon tab.
So.
Oxygen is just everywhere.
Yeah, it's also organic, and
Yeah.
organic material just comes up with carbon.
Yeah. So we can go into the manual adjustments. Oh, let me just minimize that.
Yeah.
And the Neoscope is actually pretty good. It looks after itself for the most part. So I can tell it to focus automatically, and we'll zoom in.
And it should, oh, that's very bright.
It's very bright because it's gold. I've been doing compositional stuff, so the auto contrast brightness is everywhere at the moment.
Yeah, but we can adjust that.
Yeah. So it's running autofocus, so it's working out where the best focal point is. And you can see it's just doing stuff up here. I have requested a little spinny wheel. And we'll see.
There we go.
And if we do the auto contrast brightness, we just hit that A button for auto. And it will think, and eventually, ta-da! It's pretty decent, actually.
Yeah. Very contrasty.
So today we're doing, oh, it's on back scatter, that won't help.
That might happen.
That explains why.
Right. Yeah.
So today, like I said earlier, we're doing secondary electron imaging. So we're now looking at the shape of different things. So at the bottom here, we've got our magnification. As we're at 65 times, I can scroll in all the way up to, I think it's 100,000 times.
Yeah.
It's quite a lot, more than you would ever feasibly need.
Yeah.
And zoom all the way back out again. We've got our accelerating voltage, our landing voltage of 5,000 volts. We're using a lower voltage today just because the pollen is quite small and we want lots of detail. Got a working distance, that's basically just the height.
Yeah, so the height between the sample and the electron.
Yeah. What do you feel like? Standard mode, high resolution?
Standard, and then we can switch to high resolution and see the difference.
Yeah. So the probe current is basically how much energy we're putting in. So if you have a high probe current, you're generating much more energy. And sometimes that can reduce the quality of your images because as you're putting your electrons into the sample, they're not just interacting with the top, they're interacting like a little bubble around it as well. Because we're putting just stupid amount of volts into this. So if you have a high probe current, you get a bigger interaction volume. If you have a little probe current, you get a smaller one. But we're able to change these depending on what it is we're looking for. Yeah, see what else there's to say. Driving around the Neoscope is super easy. You can just click and drag.
Yeah.
We've got assorted different scan speeds at the top. Let's put this on a really quick one.
So quick.
Super speedy. Nice and easy to drive around. You can scroll in and out. So if anyone would like to have a go at driving, just plop it in the chat and we'll be able to give you control. There is nothing you can do to this microscope to break it. So it's probably the best one to have a practice run with if anyone does want to have a drive.
It is a lot of fun, very easy to use.
Yes. Just find some fun bits of pollen.
Fun bits of pollen.
Is tulip pollen.
Tulip pollen. Should I go?
Very kindly donated by our lab manager.
I shall.
There's quite a lot on this one, I think.
Right. Okay. This computer's got touchscreen, and I like using the touchscreen, so I'm going to be at weird angles doing this.
I'll move that a little bit out of the way.
Yeah. No. Let's have a look. Where are we? Focus. Oh.
There we go.
Yeah. Just double check.
So as we're collecting images, you'll see us change between the quick scan and the slow scan speed. All that's doing is changing how fast the electron beam moves across the sample. So slower scan speeds get you a higher resolution image. And we're also able to take photos. So we can record all the nice bits. They very kindly get saved as well with scale bars.
Oh, that's good.
Very nice.
Yeah. Liking that.
You can see our scale bar at the bottom there is 50 microns. So that's what, 0.05? No. Yeah. 0.05.
Yeah.
0.05 millimeters.
We should know this. We do this every month.
I did not do well at maths in school.
Neither, well, I did all right, but conversion I always get confused about. And we do this every month, and every month I get confused.
Yeah, we'll never learn.
We're just used to looking at tiny things.
What we're doing now is we're taking a photo of this bit. So Neoscope's great because you can take images of basically anything that's interesting and does it on a slower scan speed, so you get a really high resolution image. And it should save.
Gone to the data manager to save.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And just unfreeze.
Unfreeze. There.
Oh, yeah.
Or click that. Yeah. There's multiple different ways. And let's put it on a quicker scan speed.
So if you do have any questions or anything you want to look at, let us know. Today we're going to be going through tulip pollen, daffodil pollen, and crocus pollen. And then we've got a little tree selection at the bottom, including a lemon tree, a bay tree, and a cherry tree. So it's nice and spring themed.
Spring themed, hopefully very pretty.
They'll be interested to see the
difference. Yeah, I'm getting very interested to see the stub. I'm one of the most indecisive people ever, so I just keep going around.
There are probably some of the areas where there's not a huge amount of pollen
better. Yeah.
So when we're coating our samples in gold, it's done in a little vacuum chamber on a sort of tilted sample holder. So as it spins around, it should in theory collect and sort of coat everything in gold. But when you do have like a lot of topography or a really sort of like complicated 3D surface, it can be quite hard to get the gold in all the little nooks and crannies. So sometimes that can lead to charging effects. So you'll see charging as like a buildup of electrons in one color. You'll get kind of like this white sort of rippling effect. When it's really bad, it can actually make the image look like it's moving, even though you're not moving the microscope. So we try and avoid that as much as possible. The Neoscope does have a mode where we can do analysis of uncoated samples.
Yeah.
So we can drop it down to low vacuum, or there's an even lower vacuum, which is pretty good.
Yeah, this bit. So low vacuum and then
CR is charge reduction mode. So for things that are super chargy and do not like being in a vacuum or being bombarded with electrons, it's a good way for us to mitigate that.
Is your microscope portable, and do you take it out of the lab? This one is, and
we took it out on Tuesday.
Yes, its first trip out.
Yep.
It did so well. I was told I was in the lab.
So what we can do with this one is we take the sides off, we bolt down all the bits on the inside, we spend a long time unplugging all the cables, wrapping them up neatly and labeling them. Then we take it, we put it on a little wheelie trolley, put it in a van along with its power supply and its computer. Take it somewhere else, put it back together again, and it starts up really nicely.
Yeah, we do have some pictures of it, so maybe at some point we should, or maybe at some point we should just show you the insides, because the insides are really cool. But this was our plan is for Microscopy Live at some point to start taking it on the road, out and about. Can it be booked for school events?
That is in the works.
That is in the works. We definitely would love to do that. Hello, EMC. Hello, Will.
Hi, Will. Taking it to do direct interaction with schools is something that we would love to do. And our partnership with Joel is one of the things that will actually help support us doing that.
Yeah, let's take a better.
We've got some events planned later in the summer. We're going to a conference in June to show some businesses.
Showcase. Yeah, there's what is the Royal Scientific?
Oh, it's the Royal Society Summer Exhibition.
Summer Exhibition. We've got a local schools, the university hosts a schools open reach for students looking to go into university, so we're planning to go to that, whether that's with a Neoscope or just some other cool exciting things. But yeah, we have big plans to make this event as accessible to everybody, whether online or in person, just doing what we can.
The tulip pollen looks a little bit like deflated netballs.
I remember one of them looking like rugby balls. So I've had a bit of a play, but
if anyone else wants to have a go, just give us a shout.
Just give us a shout. If you want to have a go, we can give you control.
Drive around, collect as much data as you like. So last week, Lorelei's mum gave it a go, and it worked really well.
I think she was on her iPad as well. So if you're on a tablet or something, you should be able to still control it. This is all set up, so it's designed to be touchscreen as well. So
that's very good.
And if you want us to move sample as well, just let us know.
Or should we get one more photo of some tulips before we go across the daffodils?
To daffodils, yes.
So I have had a sneaky look at the 3 flower samples just to make sure that I prepared them properly.
They all look pretty good.
We're both geologists, so normally dealing with rocks is easy. Give me like a bit of a plant. I have no idea what I'm doing with it.
I know that you need to how to prep it, because obviously I specialize in doing all the sample prep that's tends to be non-biological, but I do a bit of biological stuff as well. And this, we just do that. So this was air dried and then coated, but normally we have to do some more complicated procedures for some different biological stuff. But
the pollen's incredibly rugged, so it actually holds up really well under SEM.
I think the only issue with that is it just deflates slightly, just because it's losing water, which you'll get with most things when you air dry. It shows out some cool texture.
It's very nice and crisp. So this kind of like ripple you can see in the background there, that's a carbon sticky tab that is stuck down. This is basically fancy double-sided sticky tape. But as it gets pressed down and as it dries and contracts, you get this sort of like warping in the background, which is really annoying when you're trying to make nice pictures at the end. You got to try and get rid of it.
Yeah, just threshold it and Photoshop. Okay, we've got another. Software-wise, is it possible to reduce the icon sizes and expand the active imaging window? I don't know.
We haven't tried.
We quite like this setup. But
turns out yes.
Yes, you can do
yes,
it
is. So we tend to keep it with all the buttons visible just because we're often switching between settings.
Yeah. And because this software is designed to be on a touch screen, obviously you want the buttons bigger so that it's easy for people to do the touch screen. It's designed to be as user-friendly as possible so that you can teach anybody how to use a microscope.
Yeah. And it is. We've actually had some really good success using it for sort of industrial work. We've had students using it. Pop across the daffodils.
Yeah, it'd be a great one to bring to schools, especially if you try and do maybe primary school stuff, look at insects and things and stuff that to do with our curriculum. Start bringing the electron microscopy to the younger audiences.
It is incredibly like user-friendly.
Yeah. We've moved on now. Jen has taken control and we're now on to daffodils, which are kind of look like tacos.
Yeah, they are taco shaped, aren't they?
Oh no, I just want tacos.
Oh, right, so we've got deflated rugby balls, we've got tacos.
Oh, these are netballs.
Anything.
Well, yeah, we like to way we describe things associated with other things. Best way to describe things.
So it's just running the autofocus at the moment. Yeah, that's pretty good though.
Yeah.
We slow the scan speed down, get a nice crisp image.
And you start seeing all of the different funky textures. They really do look like tacos though. And I'm really hungry.
I know. Always make the mistake of doing this one just before lunch.
Yeah.
I don't really have any like fun pollen facts. Actually.
No, it's not really fun, but pollen's trying to kill me at the moment. I have hay fever and I am struggling at the moment.
Yep.
So.
This is vengeance for Lorelei.
Vengeance.
So the benefit of having a Neoscope is because it saves this image at the back. It's actually really easy to work out where you are on the sample and where the electron beam is relative to the rest of what you're looking at. Makes navigating much easier.
Yeah.
Yep. So you can see where I've like squished the sample into the holder and I've broken through the gold coat.
Yeah, because it obviously it's very thin. It's quite delicate, so it can come off quite easily or get damaged.
Okay, so you can sometimes see like these darker patches on some of these. This is a charging effect. So because it's 3D and it's had me pressing it into sample holders, I've just dislodged some of the gold coat. So it means the imaging there isn't going to be quite as nice, unfortunately. I think I'll find like a fun bit.
It's not the end of the world. If things happen like that, you just recoat it. Yeah, because it's such a thin layer, you can do quite a few coats before you start really but reducing the crispness of the image, like from the sample.
Yeah, probably the coating is like the most forgiving part of SEM.
Yeah, you just got to make sure you've got something on there.
You can rotate the screen. There's also super easy to like we can rotate this the scan shape.
Yeah.
Which means if you've got things in like a certain orientation and you want them all to be sort of like to fit and framed nicely.
Yeah.
It's quite easy to do. So you can be actually like quite artistic with something like SEM imaging.
Yeah. Lots of people do that. You can go online and look at some images. Although it all does come in grayscale, Photoshop is a wonderful thing, and there is also different factors, different analysis types that do loads of colours.
Yeah.
But the images you can get are so beautiful. Some of them, what it's like marine microorganisms look so pretty, really nice. Pollens look very nice. There's some lots of different shapes.
Let's go back to that quick span.
It's just all of the funky textures.
In daffodil pollen seems largely unremarkable. It's just kind of like smooth bean shapes.
I remember the textures being quite cool.
Yeah, like really get in there. Right, let's try an autofocus, see what that does. And if not, I can correct it a little bit.
So we are at 8,000 times magnification. 2 micron. Microns, micrometers, one of the two.
It's autofocus. So having like the autofocus tool is really useful, especially for people who aren't familiar with electron microscopy or people who just want to get some data quickly.
Yeah.
Zoom out a little bit.
Yeah.
So what we always try and do is we try and focus at a higher magnification than what we actually want to get images at. Because that means as you zoom out, everything will be in focus.
Yeah.
I say having completely failed to focus.
Sometimes this happens. And that is fine.
In my defense, the 3D samples are hard.
Yeah. It happens to the best
Yeah.
of us. It's just requires a little extra.
Find like a little bit.
It'll work.
It's just kind of crinkly, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Time on 20 past. So I'm keeping an eye on the time because I want to make sure that we actually get a chance to look at everything. Because
Yeah.
Lorelei and I do tend to get quite distracted.
Yes.
It's nice to be able to just put things into a microscope and see what they actually look like. Unfortunately, you can spend so much time doing that.
And taking so many pictures, and then you want to look at them. all. Use up all of the data hard drive
Oh, yeah.
space, which we do a lot.
There's a lot of data transfers that happen in this lab.
We just do so much work. We just produce so much data.
You do. I mean, most of it is very useful stuff.
Yeah, it is all very useful stuff. That's why we're producing it.
So you can see on this grain, there's a bit where the gold coat's been knocked off, and you can see the sort of like charging bubble through here. It's a shame, but that's fine.
Yeah.
There's enough pollen on here that I'm not too worried. Back to the quick view. Yeah, daffodil pollen seems largely unremarkable. Should we give a look at some crocus stuff?
Yeah, let's do that. Once again, if anybody would like control, just raise your hand or say out in the chat or something.
That's different.
Oh,
that's very different.
That is very different. That's cool.
Do a quick autofocus. I've been bitten on the back of my hand.
Oh no.
That's right, next month.
Next month is already starting to take pain.
Yeah. So next month we'll be looking at insects, which means Lorelei and I will be rummaging through the lab to look for any dead spiders. We do have a bee. The bee has suffered a tragic accident and has lost a wing.
Yeah, we've had it around for a while.
Yeah.
There's loads of insects around that we
Yeah.
can probably find ones, but that one should be a lot of fun.
Yes, we've had lots of requests to look at insects, so we're looking forward to being able to do it and get some really cool images. Bees are surprisingly hairy. Spiders, much smoother than you think they should be.
But their faces are just as terrifying as you think they are.
Very upsetting.
So we might have to do a warning, like if you don't like spiders.
Yeah, there will be an arachnophobia warning for that one.
Yes.
No, today is just vengeance for hay fever sufferers. So crocus is very different then.
Yeah.
Kind of like almost look like blood cells.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Just the way the concave. Concave. Cave in.
Yeah. So as always, if you do end up hearing some background noise, we're really sorry. We are a working lab. We've got students in at the moment. We've got building work happening. We've got people coming up and down the corridor.
And all of the microscopes make noise. They've got pumps and lots of pumps, lots of electronics working around them. So there is just a lot of background noise. We do have noise suppression on, but we apologize. That's just nice. It's pretty.
It's very crisp.
Yeah. As we say that, just weird noises from the building site next door.
And yeah, this will probably be the last Microscopy Live in this corner for the Neoscope. Hopefully next month we'll actually have a bio window, which is nice for us. Yeah, have a different view, show you a different angle of the lab.
Different angle. What microscopes have we used? So we've used, so directly behind us, you probably don't be able to see there, we have we can move. We have our Joel 7001, which is what we've used multiple times. I think we've used most of our microscopes twice now. Behind this, where I'm just pointing, there's another 2 or 3 microscopes over there. We've got Joel 66, which we've used. We've got our TEM, we've got our FibSem over there. There. And then this corner is Neoscope corner.
Yeah. Not for much longer though.
No.
They are quite cell-like, these actually, aren't they?
Yeah.
I want to find just like a nice like couple that by themselves get like a pretty image. Quite good.
Front and back.
Handy, very useful. Let's check the focus.
Yeah, normally we try and give you a load of facts as we're doing, but we've both been.
I just don't have any pollen facts.
We don't have any pollen facts. So if anybody has any pollen facts they want to say, go for it, because we are lacking, unfortunately, this month.
I guess in terms of our fields, we're both geologists. Some people use pollen to look back into the fossil record.
Yeah.
Because it's really, really robust. It just
really
doesn't
robust.
degrade.
I remember doing a lot of work with it in marine samples, so looking at this pollen that you can find in marine sediments, and that is a way of predicting past environment, which is very cool.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah, that one's cool.
I feel like it would be spongy.
Yeah.
I wonder if this would be a good one to try some of the 3D stuff on.
Oh, yes, 3D.
We find like a clumpy bit that's not too clumpy.
We do a lot of STEM and pollen analysis at Microscopy for lake and river samples specifically.
Ah, cool.
That's cool.
Try the live 3D. See what happens.
Okay.
We're going to run the auto contrast brightness, yeah?
Yeah.
Hey!
Okay. So this is another funky little setting, or quite big setting on the Neoscope, which, because we're looking at secondary, that's giving you 3D topography of the samples. So we can then run an analysis, which will then give you like a multicolored 3D analysis of whatever samples you're looking at.
So you can see the shape of this one at the front is kind of sort of kidney bean-esque. And you can just kind of like make out that groove through there.
Yeah.
Whereas the one in the back's picking up that nice little divot. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Most of the samples I use are polished flat rocks, so I don't get to play around with the 3D function too much.
Yeah.
But it's
nice.
Not
seen it being used. Yeah, it's actually
nice to see.
We saved like that. Really. I don't know.
Somehow.
Probably. We're still fairly new to us, this microscope, so we're slowly figuring out how it works.
So the 3D function has an extra bit of software that we've only just got hold of. But we're playing around with it and learning all the things that did. That looks very porous.
That bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably where the coat starts.
Yeah.
I was trying to look at those bits because you can really see the texture.
Zoom right in on the texture on this guy. Do an autofocus and we'll wiggle it.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
It's pretty good.
That's pretty,
surprisingly lumpy. Am I doing stig as well?
Yeah.
So not only can we just focus the beam, we can also sort of slightly change the shape of the beam. So the stigmation is the same as kind of like with your eyes. If you have to wear glasses, you have astigmatism. We can sort of like shift the beam slightly into a different shape to get a crisper image. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And again, we focus at a higher magnification we want to image at. Because then as you pull back, everything to focus, especially with a 3D sample. So secondary electron's really good for giving you a depth of field because you can focus through the different sort of like heights of your sample. Yeah, trying to get all of it in focus at the same time can sometimes be a bit challenging. Yeah. It's pretty lumpy though. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
It's cool.
It's definitely biological. Carry on, half past. We could like go around to some trees.
Yeah.
So flower pollen seems relatively similar.
Yeah. See if there's any difference when you get to bigger plants.
What do you feel like? Herbs, fruits, or flowers in terms of trees?
Let's try herbs first.
Spin this back round to the right angle.
Yeah.
Drive it all the way across. So this is some bay tree pollen. I say it is. Oh, there is pollen on it.
There is. Oh.
Good.
Yeah,
I was so worried.
Oh wow,
that's not the same.
Does not look the same. The spears. I don't know. Something about anything that's circular just makes me very happy.
One of the differences is something to do with because some people get hay fever. There's tree pollen related.
Which is I am a tree pollen person. Which is
vengeance to you then. Feel free to drive around.
Vengeance, no. Oh, wait, it's doing stuff. I just like this is so circular, whereas the other ones are very oblong. Why am I doing that? It looks spiky as well. Slow span speed.
That's really interesting. I didn't expect there to be such a big difference between them. Very interesting to see.
It is spiky as well.
That is spiky. Looks more like the Coccolithophores, the radiolarians that we looked at in the marine one. If you just showed me this image straight off, I'd probably assume it was some sort of marine microorganism.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Let's take a picture.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I like that. It's funky. 7. We go. Oh, that's slow. Let's go a bit quick.
Hopefully by now you've seen how easy it is to drive around and use this microscope. So if you do want to give it a go, just let us know. Drop it in the chat.
Yeah, we can give you control of the screen.
That's fun.
Double. Right, let's zoom in.
So I got this from my neighbor's garden. Just walking by, I grabbed some off the tree.
I don't know how much that did, but we're going to see back out again. Might adjust the brightness contrast.
Yeah. So changing the contrast and brightness can reveal different things about samples. So if you're doing composition analysis, if you're interested in a certain mineral, you can jiggle the contrast brightness around to make sure you can see that one really well. In this case, it's making sure that we're pulling out the right features. So you don't want anything to be too oversaturated in white or too dark. It's finding that happy middle ground. And we can, of course, edit these in post as well. We can put them into something like Photoshop and change things there. We can recolorize things in there. And of course, the SEM does only produce grayscale images using this technique.
Yeah, because obviously it's using electrons rather than the visible light spectrum to create them.
So there is a technique in electron microscopy that does use visible light. It's called photoluminescence. A couple of different ways and different detectors that you can do photoluminescence with. Some of them do give you colors, which is nice. Yeah, I find just photoluminescence really hard. It's fun though. It can reveal some really cool stuff. But probably not the best technique to be using on pollen, which is why we're just doing secondary electron today. I think those are just probably just bits of plant. So like bay tree flowers are kind of like there's lots of little petals all sort of like balled up together.
Oh, so this is probably a petal.
Yeah. So as I've just kind of like sort of pressed it down into the sticky carbon tab, I imagine other bits of the plant have been pulled off with it.
Yeah. There's a little bit of pollen hiding.
Oh.
I'm very easily amused.
So probably all that wrinkling, if this is a petal, all that wrinkling is the fact that it's been dried and it's under vacuum now. Wet things don't enjoy being under vacuums.
No.
That's quite cool though. A nice sort of like 3D.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a photo of that.
Some of our other microscopes have an option to tilt the stage. So the stage is where we put the samples, and we can tilt them at different angles. Which we don't have that capability in the Neoscope, which does mean it's much safer for us to let other people drive. You're less likely to crash it.
Yeah, you don't. The stage doesn't height-wise does not move, so you cannot move it up into the column. Not that, and it's very, very difficult to do that on any microscope. Because it has safety procedures to stop you doing that.
But it does mean that this one is really good for just letting people have a play with if you ever want. Basically, just get into the electron microscopy.
Yeah, just have a go. Yeah, you can get someone in and trying something within 5 minutes rather than normally if we're training students, we give them.
I think that's some crocus pollen that's escaped.
Crocus pollen that has escaped.
I've had these all in, I've had these all in the same box, so I think there may be a little bit of cross-contamination. So terrible lab practice.
Fraternizing with the enemy.
Yeah, terrible lab practice on my part.
Well, they were together and labelled, which is the main thing.
That's true, and I've drawn myself a little map so I know which one's which. They are very satisfying.
It makes me happy.
Yeah,
I like circles. Oh, that's just that was contrast brightness, not focus.
I mean, the ACB is pretty good as well. So as a reminder, after today's session, Lorelei will pull together a little summary booklet of all the data that we collect.
All the images.
That booklet will also have a link to the YouTube video, as well as a link to the quiz. That's really nice.
Yes, that's really cool. I'm going to zoom out a bit. And just as a side note now, all of the Microscopy Live from past are now live and available to everybody that has, well, anybody, but they're on YouTube and they're live. We've made a playlist. So I shall start putting that playlist link into every booklet and maybe start sharing it out, just because if you didn't know Microscopy was a thing, Microscopy Live was a thing, and suddenly you're like, oh no, I wish I came to this one. You can now still watch it.
Yeah. Nobody misses out.
Nobody misses out. Make it accessible to everybody. Yeah.
But you do get secret access to the quiz and therefore the prizes if you register.
Yes.
That's really nice.
Yes. Okay. I might have to edit this and make it like a banner image or something.
Yeah.
Do like a gradient layer that's like a little bit of a rainbow or something.
That would be nice.
But I know what my afternoon is.
Yeah.
Just messing around with images.
Yeah.
Once I've done a booklet and my actual work.
Yeah, we're in the developing merch stage of Microscopy Live now.
So yeah, I've been making stickers because I love stickers.
Everybody. Oh, you made our logo as well.
I did make the logo, yes. I'm very, very proud. From scratch.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Taking images. So pretty.
That's really nice.
Yeah. I don't know why it's spiky. It must be.
I guess it grips.
Grips purposeful.
Sure, there's a deep-seated plant reason why.
Yeah.
I'm very good at houseplants, but trees, if they're not the 6 that I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, both of our biologists are on leave today, so we don't have anybody else to help us.
Should we have a look at the lemon tree?
Let's have a look at the lemon tree. I need to come back to this another day. Take images when I have a free moment.
So the benefit of electron microscopy preparation is once samples are prepared, they stay prepared basically forever.
Yeah.
As long as you don't like dunk them in water, they should be good to go.
Yeah. Oh, just as a quick note, as we zoomed out, you can see that there's a bit bigger there. There's like grey spots kicking about. That's basically all of the images that we've taken. So they are image registration onto this main image, just so that if you are like, oh, I liked that bit, we want to go back, you can just literally click on the image that you took. Right. We've moved on. We are on lemon. Got some.
So again, this is our facility director's lemon tree. For the past couple of weeks, she's been bringing me pots of flowers to get prepared. So this looks much more like crocus.
Oh, okay. once again, like all pretty, but there's like quads, like 4.
That's really cool.
Nature is beautiful.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just can't see it all the time. Like the super high mag, but all nature is beautiful.
Oh, that's full of holes. If you have trypophobia, this one is not for you, I'm afraid. Sorry.
It's so pretty. So that's basically Microscopy Live, is just me going, oh, it's so pretty. And some few science facts thrown in there. Oh, wow.
That's really nice.
I didn't realise that's what lemon pollen looked like.
Neither did I. So I had planned to bring in some pollen from all my bonsai trees. But unfortunately, it put out one flower, decided it was too early, and it's not flowered again since. No. So I missed my chance. But I think after insects, we've got a leaf one planned.
I can't remember. I know
there is one somewhere this year.
There's one somewhere.
Yeah.
I know we're doing a beach one, so that'll be a lot of shells and sands and maybe some.
We've got one planned where we use our cryo SEM, so we can look at ice creams.
Ice cream and food.
Yeah. So one of the form for registering, when it does say, do you have any ideas for future events? We are listening and we're scheduling and making sure that we've got access to instruments and access to samples. So we've already got plans for some other things that have been requested a couple of times.
Yeah.
So always let us know.
Yeah, lots of people ask for fungus and mushrooms, which we are definitely getting around to. We're trying to make that season appropriate, so that's probably going to come in the autumn. Or maybe some very new microscopes.
So if you ever do have any suggestions for Microscopy Live, you can just drop us an email.
Yeah.
If there's something in particular that you'd like to see, let us know. We are listening. It's just scheduling. So not everything.
We have so many ideas, and we only do this once a month, so we don't have enough time to do everything.
Not everything is SEM safe. But given enough warning, we can try and make it SEM safe.
Yeah. You can put pretty much anything in a microscope. The only thing you can't is something that won't, like if it's a liquid. If we can freeze it, then we can look at it. But if it can't, then
or if you want it to be alive when you take it out.
Yeah, unfortunately it has to be dead because it's going to go into a vacuum. So if it's not dead when it goes into the microscope, it will when it comes out. And we would not like to make something suffer unduly. So fortunately, no alive samples.
Yeah. That's really cool.
That's just that little bunch.
Also, is it it's kind of like 4 sort of quadrants?
Yeah, it's
really
probably gonna if you're looking at the top here. I don't know if you can find it. Yeah, you can kind of see there. It's kind of
like X-shaped-ish.
Square. I look at that and I think of
that's really cool.
A mineral, but I'm the geologist.
Carlsbad twinning. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, starlight.
Very textured.
Yeah. Spotty. Oh, this is like a little heart.
Oh, I like this one up here as well.
Ah,
that's quite cute.
That one looks like a bit like a clover leaf.
Yeah.
Or a club.
Somewhere on the daffodil stub, there are 2 that are linked together like a heart.
Yeah.
Which is very sweet. So I sent a photo of that to my mum.
I could look at this pollen all day.
When you can do. It's not booked out for us today. Feel free to play
That's
around.
true, but also I have a book to make and other work to do.
Oh,
where?
These guys are pretty good.
There's a top view.
Top view.
There's some stuff. It's like a little square thing. Okay. I'm having far too much. No, it's not far too much fun. I'm having a lot of fun.
That's the point. Yeah, the point is to have fun.
Yes.
And probably out of all the outreach we do, this is the most relaxed one.
Yeah. That's what it is. We're trying to make it more like just a chill, fun hour for everybody.
Very human experience.
So yeah, if that hour is just listening to me and Jen talk and get very excited and acting like idiots, then let's do it.
Oh, please. I'd like to zoom out and get both of them.
Yeah, no, I'm going to do one of this one first, and then.
That's really cool. Secondary electron imaging is great for realizing how not flat everything is. The amount of texture things have are very fine scales.
So because we're quite zoomed in, we're starting to see there's some, I don't know if you can pick it up on the thing, but then we're starting to get some lines. So that's just some vibration, some interference in the imaging. So that let's do that again because you can literally, yeah, probably just one of us.
Yeah.
So I'm just backing the table.
I was leaning on the table, so that's probably
Yeah.
my fault. So in an ideal world, all electron microscopes are completely isolated, so that no external vibrations can influence them.
Yeah, external vibrations, electric currents, all of this one, but all of the other ones are isolated from the Earth's magnetic field as well, because that can have an impact.
Yeah. Unfortunately, if I put this one on an isolated concrete block, it would then make it unportable.
Yes,
that's the whole point of
that's
it.
the whole point of having this one.
But it is very good because this is what 2,700 times magnification.
Yes.
And like nary a wiggle.
Nary a wiggle. Apart from the ones that we wanted both of them.
Yeah. That's satisfying.
That is very satisfying.
Yeah, maybe we should make a banner out of all the pollen and just
put loads in. I moved the table.
Oh no.
So lines must not touch. Okay. Inflated rugby balls.
Yep.
They do, yeah. It's crazy what, like, you look at loads of different things and they look like lots of other things similar.
Rugby balls does seem to be the most common thing that we look at.
Yeah.
Oh, they're so pretty.
So pretty. Right. Okay, great. I'm gonna keep going.
Should we ration ourselves and do like one more lemon tree before we go into the cherry tree?
Yes. Okay.
We want to finish on time for a change.
Yeah, we seem to always go over a couple of minutes. Not too bad.
A little bit chargy, my bad.
That's fine. Sometimes it happens. You can see some that are quite deflated, but they look cool. Right. Just running the autofocus again. I have to go over to revenge.
Oh no, we're Patricia.
Yeah.
Thank
you
you
for coming.
I wonder if some of this stuff down the bottom actually might be shadowing.
Maybe.
They're really crisp images though. We're doing well today.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah, there's a little bit charging, so there's other stuff that's not coated properly. But
it's a very easy fix.
Yeah, that's very easy fix. That's bad. Yeah. Right, okay, rationing myself.
Final sample.
Moving, right. Cherry.
Right in the middle. Final one.
Let's go.
So there's lots of cherry trees in Plymouth, and they're all flowering at the moment. So it's really, really pretty. I live down near the seafront, and there's just like big avenues of cherry trees, and it's so nice.
Yeah. I live opposite a very small park next to the train station, so there is a lot of cherry trees around there as well. We have stuff, right? Focus. It looks much smaller than the other stuff.
But 100 micron scale bar at the moment, so there's 20, 30 microns.
Another different shape as well.
Might just become a little side project for us, is just tracking all the pollen in Plymouth.
Yeah, that could be fun. Just having a little
checking in every now and again throughout the seasons.
Yeah. Well, that's different. Right, let's slow down the speed. What have we got? It's got lines.
It does have lines.
Stripy. Once again, very different.
Yeah. I can zoom in on this one in the middle. That could be quite nice. Just get a nice angle.
Yeah, I'll do this. Just an overview when I'm in.
The way we've prepared these by just sticking them down onto little carbon tabs means we don't get a whole lot of control as to which orientation things are in. But the chances are there's enough on here that something will be at the right angle to look at everything.
Yeah. Oh, that's quick. Let's just Zoom in.
That just looks like it's made out of wood.
Yeah, or it's tiger stripes.
Mm.
Nice, right. See. See where it's out of focus there because it's at much lower depth.
Well, how much variation there is.
And I've looked at it. Was when I first started here, just to get me practicing with lots of different microscopes. I picked up a random flower from outside, and the pollen that was from that flower, it was in the summer, so it was very different, was completely different from anything that we're looking at right now.
So in the past in the lab, we've looked at daisy pollen and dandelion pollen that I know of.
Dandelion is very, very spiky. That I think is the header image for this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I quite like that. Just angles of it.
A very different shape, isn't it?
It's kind of got that. I think it might be 3 rather than 4. But
yeah,
weird. The shape that the lemon tree had as well. Someone's on its own.
And maybe like these two. That could be nice. It looks like coffee beans.
Yes. Coffee beans. Which also look quite funky under the microscope, seeing their texture and their structure.
Yeah, anything that you think is smooth is absolutely not smooth. That's the smoothest thing I've ever looked at. Probably just polished metal.
Polished metal, yeah, which is normally artificially polished, so it's not naturally like that. But even then, even with the hours I spend polishing something super flat, you put it under the microscope, it's like, yeah, that's
not flat at all.
It's not flat at all. It looks very flat and very shiny to me, but that is with my eyes. Kind of looks like a fingerprint.
Yeah,
just the swirls.
Oh, that one's end on.
End on.
So it's 3 sort of nodes rather than 4.
Yeah.
Do an ACB on that one as well. It's a little bit right. It's nice having a microscope and look after itself pretty much.
Yeah. That's good. Better. Zoom out a little bit.
Sorry, just a mystery bang from upstairs.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
That is funky.
Yeah, because the pattern kind of like wraps over at the end, doesn't it? Great.
Do one more photo to end on.
So as we come to the end of Microscopy Live, as always, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for registering. It really helps us out, even if you can't attend the live session, just to register. Again, we're really proudly partnered with Joel. Joel manufactures most of the microscopes we have in the lab, and in particular the Neoscope. And we're really pleased we're able to use it as like an outreach tool. And hopefully once we can get out and about and go to schools and go to events more, we look forward to seeing you in person and letting you drive the microscope in person. But I think for the most part, Microscopy Live will stay online, so we can make sure that as many people as possible can get access to it. But hopefully we can then, I think there might be some dust.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can start taking it places. And do the Microscopy Live roadshow.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
As always, if there is anything that you would like to see in Microscopy Live or have a session dedicated to, just let us know. We are listening, we are scheduling.
Yeah.
We've already got some things in the works. I got some people to contact. Some Microscopy Live special guests.
Ideas for some very cool sessions.
And as a reminder, there will be a quiz attached to the booklet today, and we've got a range of our lab branded goodies, but also some gel branded ones. And we'll be announcing the winner at the start of our next session, which is the last Friday of May.
We are the last Friday of April right now.
Last Friday of May will be our next session. It's all about insects.
Yes. Creepy crawlies.
So we'll find some bees, try and get a moth or two maybe, get some spiders, all the classics.
All the classics. We'll find what we've got kicking around from the lab with our endless supplies of samples.
We do. We're not short of stuff in here.
Yeah.
But now it's 11:58. Probably a good time for us to end things
on time.
Yeah. For once. Nice change for us.
Yeah.
It's very easy for us just to get very excited.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah, next time.
Have a good afternoon, everyone. Oh, no worries, Susan. Thank you. And thank you to Matt as well. Yeah, and as always, any questions, just drop us an email.
Yeah.
We're always available. Yeah. And we like Microscopy Live, so we want to make this as good for you as we can make it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, everyone, and we'll say goodbye.